Today's episode is brought to you by Promescent. Use the code in our description to automatically get 15% off at checkout.
What if there was just one supplement that helped you here, and yes, even here? Say hello to VitaFlux Powder for Men. This natural blend has 3 key amino acids like L-arginine, L-citrulline, and L-carnitine. With just a scoop in the morning and 1 scoop in the evening, VitaFlux helps to increase testosterone levels, improve recovery times from injury and exhaustion, and increase libido, giving you energy in any activity you engage in. Did we mention it comes with delicious flavors like mint mojito? So, what are you waiting for? Get back to your prime. Shop VitaFlux Powder for Men today.
We like to bring on some of the most entertaining, inquisitive, educational people I know, and some I don't. But you're lucky because these next 2 people are part of my Sunday stunt family. Can I do stunts? No, but they let me hang around. So we're going to talk to them about the ups, the downs, the spin-arounds, and some of the fall downs that happen in motorcycle stunts. Please welcome to our bright red couch, Johnny Boy and Sam. Come to me, come to me, come to me. You walking normal.
Are you disappointed? I'm sorry.
Come sit. All right, guys, we have a lot to talk about. I think we need to start with the elephant in the room. We've got a beautiful motorcycle sitting right there as our 3rd guest today. Whose bike is this and what makes it so special?
That is my bike. What makes it special are all the parts that are exclusively for doing stunts.
Such as?
So one of my main sponsors is Impact Tech. You have the cage, which protects the bike, the sub cage, which also protects the bike and is a little stronger than stock for jumping around on. It's got rear sets. I've got the easy pull clutch. I've got specific brakes for stunt riding. Yeah, it's just...
And your tank seems a little unusual compared to a motorcycle you'd see in a store.
We do a lot of sitting and standing on the tank, so a stock tank is like a bubble.
Yeah.
This one is a little more flat for utilizing for stunts. So.
And we're going to get into how you utilize this bike for stunts in just a minute. But before we get into you and all the weird and wonderful positions you've been in with multiple people on this exact motorcycle, let's talk about where this motorcycle was on May 6th at the Iron Goddess all-female motorcycle show, where little Sam did a little something for the first time.
Yeah, I got to experience my first stunt show, International Female Ride Day, so that was a really fun way to get to celebrate that. And it was a huge step out of my comfort zone. But
Were you terrified?
Thankfully, it was really last minute and very impromptu, so I didn't have a lot of time to be nervous beforehand.
Unlike today.
I had like a week. But I had Johnny Boy with me, and so honestly, once I got out there, it felt very natural. It felt very comfortable. He reminded me to just kind of do what I do on Sundays when I'm training and almost pay no attention to everybody that was watching, which was really helpful at first. And then once I was in there doing my thing, it was not as uncomfortable as I thought it would be.
I was beaming with pride when I saw you. I didn't know you were going to be there.
Nobody did.
It was so exciting. And then as soon as I saw the bike, I was like, that means Johnny's here. And we, behind the scenes, you had your helmet on, you couldn't tell, but we were like, Johnny, your little protege did it. And I feel like we owe a lot of your skill, not that you haven't done all the hard work, but I think we owe a lot of what you're capable of right now is to the coaching and the kindness and the friendship that you have with Johnny Boy and how he led you along this journey in so many ways.
Yeah, 100%. I think that I would not be where I am today if not for the support that I have from Johnny and from the crew on Sundays that I train with. Just for like a small example of what that could look like. On that Saturday, again, I had no intention of doing a show that day. And when I got there and decided that I wanted to do it, I texted him that morning at like, 11 or so, 12?
Something like that, yeah.
And I was like, hey, what are you up to today? Any chance you want to drive out and bring the bike so that I can do a show? And he was like, send me the address. I'll be there in 2 hours. And so that kind of thing happens time and time again.
Johnny doesn't say no to you. So this isn't your stunt bike. You have a bike you can do stunts on.
I do, yeah. I have a couple of bikes that I ride.
But you did not bring that bike to the all-girl show. You asked Johnny to bring his.
No, because I'm more comfortable when it comes to most of the tricks that I've been training on Sundays, because this is the bike that I ride on Sundays when I train with the crew. So I know I'm more familiar with it. There's a lot more I can do on it, whereas my other bikes, I'm limited to the tricks I can do, again, just based on like all the modifications that this bike has.
So, Mr. Johnny, tell us about Sundays and your stunt family. We've seen your videos online, Johnny Boy Media. We've seen you in parades. We've seen you crash. We've seen you get up. But we've also seen the camaraderie of you bringing together a community of like-minded people. So tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, I mean, we have this, what I refer to as the stunt family. It's just a group of people who like to ride motorcycles and ride them not really how they're designed to be ridden, but take it a little step further. Wheelies, stoppies, burnouts, drifts, all kinds of acros, which is what Sam kind of specializes in. And it's a camaraderie of people. I mean, we do events all over the country where we get like-minded people together, the stunt family, and just have full-on events of just fun.
I mean, you were just in Florida.
Yes, yeah, I was just in Florida a couple months ago for an event called Winter Vacation that happens every year.
Wait, you were there too, weren't you?
That was my first time at like a mega stunt session. Is that what we call it?
A mega sesh.
A mega
I mean, we
sesh.
had
It was so fun.
similar. We had the Ride of Legends here in Los Angeles, and people from Chicago came out, and people from Florida came out, people from Texas rode out. Like it's such a we have a stunt family Sundays at that location, but the stunt family expands across the country and across countries as well. Because when you were in Thailand, what happened?
Oh yeah, so in Thailand we met up with a crew of obviously Thai people that embraced us and let us borrow their bikes to go to their local lot.
Yeah.
And we just had a blast. It was so much fun.
The same experience in Israel when I went back to visit several months ago, and just like on Instagram found the stunt community out there, sent them a message and was like, hey, I'm coming from LA, would love to meet y'all. And they welcomed me in with open arms. They let me ride their bikes. They, hosted me, fed me. It was such a beautiful experience to have an instant connection with people that I would not have otherwise connected with, just because we share the same passion and the same love for this wild, ridiculous sport.
What we've seen in the stunt family is people who are willing to welcome you with open arms, help you out no matter what. I mean, you personally put my cage on my bike in a parking lot, like no questions asked. Like, can you help me? Yeah, okay, come on Sunday. Like the amount of people who love and support each other without question, just because we all like to get a little dangerous once in a while. It's really, really phenomenal. I think that's not something you necessarily see in other sports. This is a really, really positive space. Now, it's a very male-dominated space. There's very few women. So let's talk about women in this sport. I mean, Johnny, you've been around for a little while.
A little while.
A long time. He's the OG.
Yeah.
How have you seen women in the sport evolve over time?
So when I first started, there was actually 3 women who kind of pioneered the stunt industry, and that was pretty much it. And as it progressed more and more, and now there's plenty of women in the sport. It's actually nice. It's, one of the things that's nice is they're not just showing up to support their man. Now they're there to ride. They're there to learn, and it's amazing. That's part of the stunt family. You even have people that come out with their kids, hang out, and just enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful experience. But besides it being warm and fuzzy and very family-like, let's talk about the danger.
So last Sunday, I was practicing something that's a little difficult, and the bike fell on my foot and smashed my foot. So, yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of a limp. It didn't stop me. I continued riding, but I probably should not have. And the day after, I really saw the damage when my whole foot swelled up and turned black and blue. But that's definitely, matter of fact, I just saw a post from my buddy Caleb. He's back east, and he just took his finger off. You saw it? You saw it? Yes.
I saw it. I saw the uncensored version of it. I saw it.
Yes. So, I mean, that is.
He's got 9 fingers left.
Yeah. There's so many things that can happen. And yeah, I mean.
Shout out, he took it like a champ.
I thought he took it amazing. I mean, he was kidding around and showing it, and I was like, yeah. And I've seen that in person, actually, a couple times. So
these machines are quite dangerous if not used properly. And the thing that you two are both known for is not riding these bikes as they were intended. Can we talk a little bit about how do you do dangerous things safely?
I think that's a really important piece to touch on for myself. There was a moment at the lot where they nicknamed me Send It Sam, because it seemed like I was just like, I'd get up and I'd try it and I'd send it, and then I was successful pretty quickly. And the misconception with that is I'm not just recklessly sending it. I take everything into consideration. I'm mindful, I'm intentional, and I really evaluate the entire, you know, I look at the bike, I look at my own headspace that day, I look at who's there, who's around, and before I just try a new trick, I make sure that I'm setting myself up to succeed. And honestly, that has been something that's kept me pretty safe for the most part. Yeah, I've like messed up a couple times here and there, but I always learn from it. And when it comes to sending it, when it comes to pushing those boundaries and pushing that comfort zone in order to grow, I don't just do it from a place of like, you know, let me just send it recklessly, and then whatever happens, happens. Like, I send it with a lot of intention, with a lot of thought, and I don't go outside of what I know that I can come back from safely. So it is important to not just like...
And in training her, one of the most important things that I taught her right off the bat is the clutch. Pulling in the clutch. Most of the time what happens is people get in trouble, and the power that these bikes have, they can just take off on you. So one of the first things I try to instill in her and anybody I'm teaching and is the clutch. Pull in the clutch immediately. That's going to save you.
And I remember how proud you were that first time when like I almost ate shit and then grabbed the clutch, and you were like, oh, she learned it. Good job. Now I know she's going to be okay.
Something that I think is really inspiring for me to see as like a woman at the lot is, I remember my first day I saw you just ride out a wheelie like it was nothing. That is like level 1 compared to where you are now in less than a year. And it's been incredible to see your growth and to see the progression that you've made. And I want to make notice of, it might have been the Ride of Legends. It was one of the rides you went on where you were very capable of doing wheelies, and you did not wheelie on the highway. And I know Johnny was like, why not? Now's your time, let's go. And you had a really good reason for not doing those stunts that you would practice in that environment. Do you remember what that was?
Not specifically. Was it just I didn't feel in the headspace?
It was, you hadn't practiced at that speed.
Oh.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so doing these same stunts at those speeds has extra things you have to consider, and you're very thoughtful. And you I remember hearing you talk about how you haven't, you know, experienced those speeds yet, you haven't clutched up at that gear yet. And meanwhile, I was like, my dumbass would have absolutely tried.
Yeah.
And I would have been the person knocking out 300 people in a ride.
Well, that's the thing, is there's so many more variables when you're out in a group ride, and there's so many other riders. There's not a lot of space, and I know that if anything goes wrong, there can be a domino effect of, you know, a lot of collateral damage because of that, and that's just not, it's not worth it. You know, get really good in safe places before you bring it out into the street, and do it in places where other people can get hurt at your expense.
People talk to me because, you know, I'm on the internet, and they think I know way more than I do. Definitely like a baby rookie in this world. But when people want to come to the stunt spot, they're brand new. One of the things I tell them, just it's my own fear that I'm kind of projecting on them, is a lot of the people in this spot, this is their career, this is their livelihood. So if you don't do something thoughtfully and wipe out in front of them, and you break their bike, you break their leg, you stop them from doing their job, you've now wrecked somebody's career temporarily or perhaps permanently because you made a bad decision. So I always caution people, like, don't come to me for advice, first of all, because I don't know enough. I always caution people, like, don't just jump in because, you know, people like Sam make it look easy, right? Like, you progress at such a level that I think it empowers a bunch of women, but it's very important to say that this was done purposefully, thoughtfully. with progressions. What kind of advice do you have for people who want to get their foot in the door?
What you're saying is really important and valid, and at the same time, if it wasn't for that welcoming feeling and that kind of like family vibe that I got, if I had felt an initial like, oh, don't come here, I don't know that I wouldn't be where I am today, right? So there was something about me showing up that first day, and I had no expectation and no intention other than to just like watch people do, you know, their cool stuff. I came with an acrobat friend who wanted me to do some tandems with her, and so that was my first Sunday, and I've gone every Sunday since for, you know, a year now, and it was them making me feel safe, making me feel welcome, that allowed me to progress at the rate that I have.
Johnny, you welcome people with open arms constantly, even at the Iron Goddess show. When people were like, I've always wanted to do that, you were like, come, we'll teach anybody.
Yeah,
You were so warm and welcoming.
I mean, that's just, for me, it's friendship is one of the most important things to me. And, you know, if you want to learn, come out, you know. Come, I'll teach anybody. It's just a matter of showing up. She's one of the very few people who consistently shows up. People think I can go there, I'll go here, you know, one time this month, and maybe a couple months another time, and I'm going to learn something. It's like, you're not going to learn anything like that. It's got to be consistent. Just like with anything in life, it's consistency.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's like, it's the showing up, it's the commitment to it, and like if you want it, you can have it, but you have to work for it, and it's not easy, because if it was easy, more people would be doing it. So show up, you know, if it's something that lights you up and you want to do it, then show up consistently, get that seat time in, practice with people who are better than you so that you can learn from them.
That's huge.
Leave your ego outside, because this is where we're here to be humbled and here to grow and here to learn from people who really know what they're doing.
I think a really beautiful moment I had as a beginner, which I still am, make that really clear, is when I was trying to like clutch up for the first time, and two guys rode beside me on similar bikes, and they were like, do exactly what I do. Wait till you hear the sound. And they step by step broke it down till it was dummy proof, which is exactly what I needed. And finally got me like getting the wheel up to where now it's like, okay, try to keep it up for 3 parking lot lines, now 4 parking lot lines, right? My problem is I didn't come back the next week, and you lose it, you gotta regain it, lose it and regain it. But I remember just like that moment where I'm like, I feel so stupid because I'm not as good as everybody else. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure it out. I'm frustrated with myself. Like, I'm sure they're frustrated watching me go, rah, rah. And then that peacefulness, we're like, no, you got this. Do it like this. And there's no, like, it's weird for me to say this, but I can confidently say there's very little ego at the lot. People really do want everyone to join in the celebration and join in other people's victories, and I think that's a really beautiful thing that you guys have going on there, and that's really cultivated by Johnny. Like, you got the tunes, you got the puppy dog, you got the bikes, you got the camaraderie, the spirit. You're constantly on the social media, making everyone feel included. Like, I don't think that we, as like the people who come there, would have the same warm, welcoming experience if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, what makes it fun is, like I said, the more, it's always that old term, the more the merrier, you know. I just want people to come out and have fun, and that, you know, lets me have fun.
Yeah.
You know, I like to see people happy and doing what they love, and if you want to come out and experience something, that's something you can do with us. Like, there are a lot of people that come and they get intimidated, and most of us are pretty much encouraging. It's like, there's no, you know, everyone starts somewhere. Don't think that we were all just jumped on a bike and we're able to do all this. We had to start in the same spot, crashing, falling, looking ridiculous. You just come out and do your thing, have fun. That's the most important thing for me, is having fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where like there are days, especially last summer, where like I just felt down. And like, I don't want to stunt my bike because it's my daily driver. At that point I didn't have a truck. But just being in that atmosphere with you guys made my day better. And then I would, like, you know, maybe sometimes 20 minutes later or 2 hours later or 6 hours later, I would deke out because I had to go do something else. But I knew that if I come here, it was like my Sunday church. It's just a really calming feeling to like see you guys, you know, hug it up, slap hands, watch you be amazing, take some videos, feel happy for like your progress, enjoy, like join in your joy. And then I gotta go. And if I can hop on a bike and I can try some stuff cool, if I can't, it's still such a good, like, peaceful environment. And like, you've really made it like the opposite of the biker stereotype, which I absolutely love and adore. That being said, people who don't have bikes show up to the lot. People who bring other skills. You've been really creative in combining what everyone's good at to make art, basically. So you've had, what, 5 people on your bike at once?
4 is the max right now. They want to do 5. They're pushing us to do a 5-person stoppy. So the 4-person one was amazing. The last shot we got,
was so
everything was synced up. It was so amazing, you know. But yeah, they want us to do 5 now, so we're gonna try to figure that out soon.
But you've also had people on stilts, you've had contortionists, you've had people doing backflips.
Fire, you name it,
Handstands.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Sam, I gotta get you to show us something on the bike. I gotta get you upside down at some point. I'm trying to think of creative segues, but realistically, can you get on the bike and show us how awesome you are, because you do some of the most unusual things?
So typically, if I'm riding, at some point I would jump up onto the tank like this and then get myself up into this position.
What speed are you doing this at?
I'm idling at 4K, so what, like 15 miles per hour or so, 15, 20.
Okay.
I accidentally once did it in 3rd gear, so I was going way faster. So yeah, this is like one of my go-to tricks. It's a crowd pleaser for sure.
You've got to be so balanced up there. How do you
Definitely.
get down without putting the bike off balance?
So I just kind of hop. I usually will just hop down. It's a little harder to do when I'm not moving because
Right.
the bike's not keeping itself up. And then another really fun crowd pleaser is just kind of hopping over and doing what we call switchback. So that's riding backwards, and everything's opposite. So all of your natural responses, your natural instincts, where you'd want to pull, you actually have to push, or where you want to push, you have to pull, or else you'll send yourself, you know, the other way. So that's another fun one that we love. And then one of my favorite ones to do with Johnny when we're riding tandem is just a little headstand situation. So he'll usually ride by and I'll hop on the bike while he's riding and then come into something like this.
Just casual.
And so that's really fun.
Now, if your head is on the seat of the bike, where is Johnny?
So
riding
Johnny's
from?
sitting up here and he's got either his feet over the front or on the sides. And yeah, that's one of our favorite, I think, crowd pleaser tricks.
Yeah, a lot of people like that one. The headstand is definitely a crowd pleaser.
And sometimes I'll get a little bit extra sketchy with it and take a hand off so that I'm really just holding on with my head in one hand. So that's fun.
I mean, combining the two sports, because she comes from the acro
Yeah.
world and I'm from the stunt world, that's been actually really fun. Is just, tandem was never my thing back in the day, but since her crew is merged with ours, that's been a big thing, a big part of our Sunday sessions now.
Yeah, there's so much room for creativity with that. I think one of the coolest things we did once with, we had 2 motorcycles and then somebody was doing a handstand. He had one hand on one bike,
yeah, between the
one
bikes.
hand
Between
on
the
the
two.
other,
Yeah.
and then
As we rode.
between the bike while they were riding, he went up into a handstand. That was really sick. Yeah, there's so much room for creativity.
Where can people see you guys do this stuff? Online?
Online, if you just go to YouTube and look up Johnny Boy Media, you'll find me and her.
like
She's
the
in a lot
shirt
of my
says?
videos. Like the shirt
Like
says,
the shirt
yeah.
says, Johnny Boy Media?
Johnny Boy Media.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Most
you'll
of my
find me and
stuff-
her.
Yeah, most
on
of
there.
my stuff will be on Instagram. I don't.
Where
have
can
a
they follow
channel
you
or
on
anything.
Instagram?
You can follow me at Sam Slod, SAMSLOD, and
They can follow Johnny at?
Johnny Boy SF, JOHNNYBOYSF.
Yay! And if people want to get a hold of you with any questions, is that okay? Can they slide in your DMs? Can they find their way into maybe getting some coaching or lessons or?
Yeah, a lot of people already do like hit me up on Instagram and just ask me for advice, you know, how to set up the bike. I have a pretty good video on how to set these bikes up, but just stunt-wise and everything else, like, yeah, you can just get in there. I try to answer a lot. It's hard to get all of them, but yeah.
Super approachable, complete opposite of the biker stereotype you've seen in movies and TV shows. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Boy and Sam Slod, 2 of my absolute favorite stunt riders and part of the stunt family that I'm so lucky that they have let me be part of. Please join us again on our next episode. Maybe we'll bring in some more stunt performers. Maybe we'll get a little wilder. Maybe next time you're on, you'll be on fire while upside down. Anything is possible here on ASN Underground.
I'm not saying I'm a bad lover, but sometimes I was the only one crossing the finish line.
Sometimes?
But the first time I tried promescent delay spray, wow.
Wow.
Just a few sprays and I could focus more on the intimacy and not be worried about finishing too soon. Now I'm not just running a sprint. We're both signed up for a marathon together.
And he lets me cross the finish line first.
Anything for you, milady?
No accents.
Right, I mean, right.